Hi everyone, welcome back. What I'm putting together right now is going to be a sweet potato pie. I am not, let me repeat, not a big sweet potato pie liker, but I do get in the mood for it, so I thought I'd make one. And you can freeze these so beautifully. So let me get my stuff together. Well, basically, I have it together, so let's just go ahead and start. My potatoes, instead of boiling them the way they used to do in the old days, I baked them. And the reason why is because when you boil them, to me, they get waterlogged. And it takes away from the flavor of the potato. So what I'm doing is I'm peeling my potato. What happened is I cooked these potatoes for for Thanksgiving, to just eat. And we had some left over. Get a knife. Yeah. Okay. We had some left over because a lot of people didn't eat sweet potatoes. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll make some sweet potato pies. And what I'll do is, depending on how many they make, which I think this is only going to make one because I'm using a deep dish crust. So what I'm going to do is put this all together, and if we want to eat sweet potato pie, we can. Or you can also, a lot of people will make their filling and freeze that, but in my family we've always made the pie, baked it, and then we take it out of the oven and let it cool down completely, and then we freeze it. So what I'm doing is taking the jacket off of these potatoes, and it's much easier to get these off if you bake it first instead of trying to cut it while it's raw. You will cut your hand if you're not very careful. And see, if you, as you can see with this, it just peels right off. So much easier. And we're not trying to make a lot of work for ourselves either. So let me just keep on peeling this until I get all of the peeling off. And then sometimes, as you can see, they have like little eyes in there, like the regular potatoes that you want to cut out. So now that I've finished peeling all of my potato, and I take off the ugly parts because I don't want that in my pie, and that's for real. So that's nice, looks good. This right here, I'll go ahead and do it like that. Okay, so that's all peeled, you can see. So what I'm going to do now is take these potatoes with a potato masher and mash them. Yeah, I think I'll get one pie out of this. There's not a lot of potatoes. Mash it up. And it's funny because I usually do, when I do sweet potato pies, because I'm doing this channel, I have to go back and kind of give a list of ingredients and how much I'm using, because usually I just put it in. So there's still more of this potato that I can get off. I don't want to waste any. As my mother used to say, there are people starving. So, okay. So I have my potatoes all mashed up, and mashed up even more. So to this, what I'm going to add is a stick of butter. So let me get this cleaned up and I'll be back. Okay, so one thing about sweet potatoes is they're already sweet. So you want to be careful with how much sugar you put in your pie, because you don't want it tasting like candy. So I'm going to do with the eggs like we did with the stuffing. We don't put the eggs in until the last, because so that you can taste your food and make sure that it's to your liking. So this is what I just put in, was a stick of butter. I'm going to stir this around to mix it with the potatoes. Nice and stirred. What I'm doing right now is mixing this with my hand, but I do have a hand mixer that I use besides the other one. The other one is nice to use when you're doing a lot of cooking, but once I put it away, that's where it stays. So, as you can see, that's how it looks when it's mixed with the butter. Okay, so to this goodness, let's add a cup of sugar. So, since we're measuring out of dry ingredients, we use these measuring cups. So I'm adding, this is a cup of sugar, pouring it in. And then what I'm going to do is mix it all around. To make sure it gets real mixed up. And at this point you can see the consistency of the potatoes starting to change. So, in order to tell if it's sweet enough, let's go ahead and taste it. It's very good. So, to this, I'm going to add some vanilla. And usually you can put in about a teaspoon. Well, yeah, about a teaspoon of vanilla. And then, to my sweet potato pie, I add a little bit of nutmeg. Not a lot, just a little. Because this stuff can be overpowering. So just a tiny bit. Or else you can add cinnamon, you know, cinnamon sugar, whatever you want to add. So, at this point, this is a good point to taste your mixture to see if it's to your liking before you add your eggs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste it by putting some on my spoon and see how I like it. It's perfect. It's very good. So, to this mixture, I'm going to add my eggs. And usually what I do with my eggs is I like to break them in a cup. Get the rest of the butter out there. I like to break them in the cup because nowadays you don't know what you're getting with these eggs and what they look like inside. So I'm cracking an egg in my cup, like so. And so I'm putting in 2 eggs. I remember I made pies one time for my mom at her job, and she told me to put 3 eggs per pie. But I'm going to put 2 for this. And I'm just going to beat the egg up. Okay, so there it is. It's all beat up. I'm going to add it to my pie. Okay, and at this point, this is where I'm going to go. I've already tasted it, so I won't be tasting it anymore because I don't like raw eggs. So that's why I always say put your eggs in last so that you could taste to see if you need anything in it or what have you. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to mix it up with the mixer, because I do have a hand mixer, and then I'll be back. Okay, so basically what I did was I took a whisk and I just whisked my pie mix myself because I didn't feel like, sometimes when you're cooking you don't feel like looking for stuff. So I didn't feel like looking for the hand mixer. So I whisked this together really good. And then this is the way it would look if I would have put it in a other kind of mixer. So there you go, I want you to see. So, and when you whisk, it gets it in just as good. Now what I did add to my pie that you didn't see was I added a little milk. My mother used to didn't put milk in her pies because she said that they would spoil it. So I added a little bit of milk. So what I have done is I've set my oven on 400 and I'm going to let you see me pour this in. So I'm going to put this down. Put it down so that you can see. There we go. There. I hope you can see very good. Put the light this way so that you can see. There. Okay, so this is my pie crust. Bought at the store. Because when you're making a lot of food, you don't feel like doing everything from scratch. And believe me, they're going to eat it anyway. So I'm going to pour my mixture in here. Just like so. Scraping it all out of the bowl. Yeah, that was just enough mix for one pie. So I'm just going to shake it around. And what I'm going to do is put this in the oven and bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. I'll probably check it before then to make sure. So I'll be back with the finished product. Okay, so the pie is ready to come out. Let me go ahead and get it. It just beeped. So this is our sweet potato pie. Hold on, let me close this back up so the cornbread can keep cooking. Clear off. 10 more minutes. Okay, so this is our sweet potato pie, and it says to bake. Let me move it over here so you can see. Okay, it says to bake on 400 for 20 to 30 minutes, but you can check it and you can take it out sooner if you like. But let me also say, as a matter of fact, I'm getting you some more light so that you can see better. There you go. What I also want to tell you too is sometimes you're baking pies in the oven and the oven is too hot and it'll burn your crust. What you can do is add aluminum foil around the edges of your crust so when it bakes, it'll bake evenly and it won't burn.
I have a question.
Yes.
Another way of the crust, can you add like butter or oil to it?
No, that'll make it, because your crust already has oil and butter in it.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably the reason why that when you're baking on a high temperature with your pie, that kind of makes your crust cook maybe sometimes faster than you're feeling. So like I said, if you add foil, just add foil around the edges of the crust.
Right.
And once it bakes, your crust will not be burnt. It'll be cooked evenly and you'll have your pie. So this is the sweet potato pie. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for looking at cooking and exploring with Smitty. And I'll be back with more videos. You know the Christmas time is coming. And if you have any dishes that you'd like to have made, that you'd like for me to make, so that you could see how it comes out, just let me know in the comment section. Thank you.